Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dungeons & Dragons: The Second Age, after some time away doing other things.
Yes, other things.
Other things.
Why did you say it like that?
What?
Because it's
Say-
Minnie
like
and
what?
he has to say things like that.
That wasn't
I'm
even me!
I'm sorry? Has it been that long that you've forgotten what our
We-
voices
No,
sound
I-
like?
I don't know. Don't come at me.
Anyway,
It's your lack of sleep. We'll allow it.
so casting your minds back a brief time, can anyone remember the point where we last parted ways and the events that led up to each of you going your separate ways on your own little adventures?
That is a bit of a rough one.
I remember that we dealt with the people whose name I forget.
Oh yeah, the right
The
wingers.
Band of Aspects.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
Them.
those ones.
I think
Yeah,
that was
we dealt.
pretty much most of that session.
Because we dealt with
Yeah.
them and then discovered a delicate diplomatic situation.
Yeah, and then we kind of just talked about who wants to try to find out what,
Yeah,
and also talked about hosting a tournament.
Oh,
and
That was a good
potential
chunk of time.
and potential castle upgrades.
Ah, yes, that was the other thing.
We were gonna get a proper castle,
Yes.
not just a palisade surrounded courtyard.
exactly.
So yeah, quite a lot of things that we can't really go into that much detail about because honestly, no one wants us to go into detail, and also we can't remember the details.
But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. You dealt with a rogue band that had been harassing the citizens of Ivywood Market, and then decided what the best way to proceed as a group in your goals of, or your grander goals of becoming established and putting a stop to the efforts of the Dread Legion.
Yeah.
So, all of you went your separate ways, and after about, I guess actually probably thinking about the relative travel times, the time spent in various different locations, and everything that happened, we probably reconvene approximately 6 weeks after you all departed. Give or take a couple of days either side. And yeah, I think our story resumes with probably with Kelariis and Arya as you step back into the gates of the compound of the Amber Eagle to find the place is basically currently a hive of activity. Between a number of individuals that you don't recognize in workman's clothes running around, who seem to be taking various orders from Tiff, who is situated in the middle of the compound, buried up to her ears in plans and various other things. It looks like at least the start of the grand plans have been put into motion. People are mapping out foundations, beginning to dig trenches, and making plans to expand the keep into something much larger. Among the faces of the actual mercenaries themselves, there's also a number of new additions that you don't recognize. Both in terms of the rank and file and some other more unusual members are wandering around. You assume, presumably, as part of Grimm's recruitment efforts. You take some time to get settled back in, and head over to find Grim and sort of brief him on what it is that has happened to you in the time that you've been gone. Only to find him in the war room, looking a little concerned, having just received a message, although you don't know that yet. So, who's going to speak first?
Well, it looks like you've been busy, Grim.
we have, however, I'm currently a little concerned. Elizabeth may have gotten herself into things she didn't mean to get herself into, or
What is that supposed to mean?
well, I guess in what I could only describe as Elizabeth fashion, she kind of went off to stopped sending messages, and I just got a message. A lot has happened. I don't have any time to explain, and I'll be back. Pretty much. I guess that means she'll be back, but yeah. Oh well, how did things go for you guys?
Imagine at that statement, Arya's just like hand to her face, like, "Oh my god, again." Well, our mission was more successful than I anticipated.
Oh, well, that's good news.
And we may have brought back a new recruit of sorts.
Well, that should be fine.
He's
I
not exactly combat capable, though. But he might be good for, well, morale, if he decides to stick around.
honestly, with the amount of people we're gathering, we probably won't hurt to have someone cheer people up every now and then. Yeah. But besides you finding some assistance, what did you discover?
Definitely more than we were expecting, but if judging by Elizabeth's message, she's coming back soon, it may be better to just wait. But we may have a little bit more to go on, at least in terms of how to protect ourselves going to the abyss.
Okay. Well, that's something. Well, I guess I guess she shouldn't be more than a day. If she can send the message, then Elizabeth will probably be here by tomorrow, if not earlier.
Should we be worried?
Wait, should we what?
Should we be worried?
Well, I guess we should be more worried if she hadn't sent anything. But considering she said she'd be back, I'll give her a little bit. And if she doesn't show up within the week, then I feel like we might have to actually go out and look for her. Well, but regardless, I guess. Well, whilst you're here, I might as well introduce you. I'd like to meet your new friend. I'll call him, or what would you hold? You doesn't matter.
His name is Cal.
Cal.
That's a
Our
name.
new Cal. Our new Cal. That's it. No.
Oh my god.
Our new Cal.
Oh no, our new assets.
Okay, let's not. Grim,
Uh.
please. It's been 5 minutes.
No, so but let's I assume they're with you, right? Or are they coming
I mean,
later?
we probably didn't bring him into the up here,
Yeah.
The
but
war room.
No, but
yeah,
I meant I meant as
oh
in.
yes,
over
he
here.
arrived with us.
Yeah.
Because
Because, like-
took him to like the mess hall or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, look, I guess in that case, I think it might be worth you guys meeting some of the others as well, because we've well made we've a few new employees or that are a little more experienced and slightly more extravagant in some sense. Or yeah, might be good to just so you know who they are. They will. Do you want to? So we just go around, unless
Sure.
if there's anything else that you want to share in in private.
Nothing that can't wait for Elizabeth to be back, I don't think. Arya?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can't do anything until she's back anyway, so.
Yeah, yeah, everything's so slow without her around. Oh well.
Well, or specifically, we need a wizard.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, that's
Unless
That's
you've
fine.
developed the ability to
To
Well,
enchant
I-
items.
time that we've been away.
I could probably use a wish, but I feel like I will rather wait.
Yeah, perhaps not.
Well, let's head off, shall we?
Yeah, you head up out of the war room.
Um,
I think like as you sort of like get out into the hustle and bustle of the courtyard, you're immediately sort of like dodging people who are trying to go between various other jobs, and you sort of it becomes immediately obvious who Kelariis and Arya's new recruit is, because he's currently standing in the middle of everything with his jaw around his knees, just taking in everything that's going on around him. Yeah, he's not the tallest dragonborn you've ever encountered, but he still stands a significant height among above most of the other people here. He is a silver dragonborn.
well, I guess we're gonna be 2 dragonborn strong. Not that one. One of them
Excuse
probably.
you, 3?
3?
Oh, 3.
Guys, Grim can't count.
I forgot. We'd actually gotten Visera in properly now.
Can't believe you forgot about Tallithsyr.
Excuse you, she was the first official member of your
Yeah.
your
How dare you
mercenary
forget
company.
about the first.
Technically, well, I mean, besides Grim.
Besides us.
Well, we
No,
weren't
we-
technically.
no.
She
we
was the
weren't-
first person
we-
to be like officially
Yeah.
signed under the Amber Eagle name, wasn't she?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it wasn't until afterwards that after in what's it called? Oh, in the desert place,
In Mardan.
Yeah. Mardan.
Mardan, that we had to register you all
Yeah.
for practical reasons.
Yep.
So yeah, it's fine. 3 dragonborn strong. But yes,
Even though one
well,
of them is not
how-
a fighter.
It's fine.
look, we don't mention that in the brochure. No.
Wow.
The
Grim's
brochure.
furiously updating pamphlets for the.
No. But yes. Well, hello there. I guess I would welcome them.
Sort of like as you sort of close in on him, you notice that he's got quite a peculiar dress sense compared to the other dragonborn that you've seen, in that he doesn't wear any armor, and he seems to have sort of a almost like a patchwork, multicolored overcoat over the rest of his common clothing.
You should have called him Joseph.
Does
He
it
is
look
not-
patchwork as in they scraped it together, or patchwork in just a weird?
As in they've stylistically taken a regular overcoat and jazzed it up to draw attention to themselves.
Okay, good. So we don't. In short, we don't need to get them a new coat.
No, it is a stylistic choice, if somewhat of a strange one.
Okay.
Already.
Cal in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him so much. Luka and I fucking died when we met him.
We were like,
True.
we both decided independently that we wanted to adopt him, and then we were both
Yeah.
like, listen.
Yeah, as you sort of introduce yourself, Carl looks down, looks to Kelariis and Arya, looks down to you and says, "Ah, a pleasure. You must be Quagrim. I'm Calibor Prinkushta."
Welcome, Calibor. I hear you're interested in well, helping us out.
He sort of like half looks nervously across to Kelariis and just says, "Well, Kelariis and I have been very generous to me. They've offered me a sort of a second chance at my career, and I was, if it's not too much trouble, hoping to spend some time with your company and learn some of your stories. I've heard already that you have some rather unconventional tales, and I'm eager to sort of explore the opportunities I can get with the rest of you."
Yeah. Well, I can't promise you we'll be here all the time to share our stories, but I feel like guess whilst we're around, you feel free to, ask about them, and I guess a little music every now and then doesn't hurt. Or I assume that was what you meant.
Yeah, he sort of nods and says, "Ah, yes, of course." Unslings his backpack and starts pulling a number of handheld instruments out of a overstuffed backpack.
Oh, don't worry. You don't have to demonstrate right now. I assume Arya and Kelariis got that part covered.
He nods and says, "Yes, I am. Well, I'm sort of well versed in the bardic arts. I can sing, I can perform, I do poetry and small amount of sketchwork. I've tried working on some comedy, but it didn't go down terribly well."
Well,
He's very capable, Grim. Don't worry.
Yeah.
well, I'll take your word for it. I'm
There's
currently
a slight
trying to
flush to his silver scales.
I'm just trying to.
Luka, stop! Luka, we can't.
We can.
No.
Well.
Oh God.
Excellent. Thinking maybe you shouldn't have torn down all the tournament stuff. Should have kept the stage up, but oh well. I'm sure we can figure something out. But yes, I guess. Well, we'll figure out how we plan to exactly schedule your performances and all that stuff, and guess we'll see you around.
He nods and grins and sort of says, "I'll be grateful for the opportunity."
Oh, there will be a slight, not early issue, but details we need to take care of. But we'll just need to do some paperwork once it's ready, just to make it official and stuff.
There's a moment of side eye where he's not quite sure whether this is what he signed up for to Kelariis, and he's just sort of yeah, sure, we can do that later, I guess.
Don't worry, it's nothing special. It's just so if anybody asks,
yeah,
or if you get in trouble, then we can, they know you belong to us, and then which is
Grim.
usually a good thing.
Kelariis is just oh my God, Grim.
Or maybe not belong to what, but wording. It's fine. As in you're associated with us. This would be a better way of putting it.
Cal is just sort of nervously thumbing the straps of his backpack, yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from, sort of.
Oh, he's too good. He's too good.
Okay. You know what? Just maybe it's not clear. You're free to leave whenever. You're not under any duress, right?
I just Oh, I thought about switching to Draconic for a second, but Grim can hear this. He's a grown he's a grown gnome. He can take me giving him shit. I just lean over to Cal a little bit, or like direct myself to Cal and just be like, Grim is not the best with words. Don't worry. What we said is still true. He just doesn't know how to say it. I just give Grim a look like, I cannot fucking believe you.
I'm just slightly confused.
Cal's like looks like happy, but also momentarily downtrodden. He's like, okay, so no grand heroic sort of leadership speeches then, or maybe just with a little editorial license.
Well,
He's good at that. He's just bad at other sorts of conversation, let's say.
He scribbles something down in his notebook and goes, noted.
No, I just stand there looking with like a raised eyebrow, like whilst that's being said. He's looking at Kelariis. It's like, oh really? Well, you know what? It's fine.
We all have our strengths, Grim. I think we know where yours lie.
Definitely in
speaking is
words.
not one of them.
No.
Yeah, Arya like a nose.
Yeah. One-on-one social interaction is definitely not one of them.
You know what? I'm just gonna see if I can round up the new recruits, both the regular and my my special squad, as I'll call them, the elite squad.
Special squad.
Special
Oh my god. Okay.
Cal,
elite squad.
who is about to excuse himself from the conversation, stops, like turns back and says, "Elite squad, you say?"
Well, maybe veteran is better, but like they're supposed to become an elite squad. That's the plan, at least.
I see, like a special team you send on the extra dangerous missions.
Yeah, pretty much, because like
Begins just
there's
frantically
stuff-
scribbling in the book.
like
I
you run
love
into situations more often than you'd think where just your regular old guard or mercenary kind of just can't quite handle it, and well, kind of hoping to change that, and like we can't be everywhere, like me and the others, so we're hoping to find more people to help us out in that sense.
It sounds like I have a few more acquaintances to make.
Yeah, feel free to stick around. I was just gonna, well, round up's maybe not the right word, but summon all the new recruits so they can see Kelariis and Arya, know who's who, and then we can have a talk with the elites or the veterans. Still have to actually like come up with a definitive name.
Cal like pauses, like raises a quill, opens his mouth, and goes, I may be able to suggest a few things.
Well, that would be much appreciated.
I'll
Because
work
as
on
you
that.
may have heard, I'm not the best with words, now am I?
Look, did we lie?
I was like, we're not wrong, technically.
Oh, he says there was a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Cal flips a page in his notebook and like in a moment of thought is like chewing on the end of his quill, like
Hey, first, how do I spell this?
Well,
Is his name as easy as it sounds to spell?
Cal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's his nickname.
Is it C or a K? That's what I'm asking.
C.
Cool. I did it right then.
Yeah, so you go around gathering the rest of your mercenaries then, or like you set about gathering the rest of your mercenaries.
yes.
Unsurprisingly, the one who is the easiest to find is the easiest to find, because he's tall and shiny.
Is he perhaps a certain religious man?
He is.
Yeah.
He's tall and shiny.
Well, like I was kind of expecting just to round everyone up. I'll
Yeah.
just tell him like we're gonna say hi to some of the other some of my close friends, also part of the Amerigo. Yeah, you probably want to meet them.
We're your inner circle.
I didn't want to quite use inner circle, but
Inner circle sounds almost culty.
yeah,
It
that's
does,
what I was
yeah.
thinking.
Just a little bit.
We need a better name for like
Yeah.
what role we fill.
Yeah, we need a lot of better names. The one thing
Yeah.
I didn't take care of is the naming scheme of our ranks.
Yeah. Lars sort of stands up, offers you a short salute, and says, "I'll get them ready, sir."
Excellent.
And yeah, not like you step outside of the mess hall where the two of you are, like start making your way towards Kelariis and Arya again. And Kelariis and Arya, you watch as like Grim steps out of the mess hall, followed by a man in sort of shining armor with a big greatsword behind him, who promptly proceeds to just bellow at the top of his lungs, which is surprisingly loud. He just yells, "Squad, assemble!"
Holy shit.
Yep.
And yeah,
Does someone have thaumaturgy?
it's not even thought. There's no magic. He is just
Oh,
fucking
what?
loud.
Nice.
Also, how tall is, like, tall?
He's like 6 foot, just over.
Okay, okay.
Still shorter than Kelariis.
Barely.
Barely.
Yeah, he is a large and very broad human man.
Yes.
But yes, after a moment, a small crowd or contingent begins to assemble around Lars. Some happy to assemble, some like less happy about being yelled over. But yeah, you see a human man in plate mail armor, who presumably Grim introduces as Lars.
Oh yes.
A figure in like hooded cloak, leather armor, and sort of like chainmail shirt. I've lost my. Yeah, clad in a leather armor and a chainmail shirt, you see a hill dwarf who has like a hood up over his like head and ears, even though it's like basically getting towards summer now, and he probably doesn't need that on. Comes out toting a massive crossbow. You see a high elf who is wearing sort of almost like stylized, almost like performance armor, like almost like
Wow.
what you'd expect to see like a gymnast or something wearing. You see Gorgo. You see a dark-skinned elf who, I guess give me a perception check. Okay.
Elf eyes don't see much.
It's difficult to tell, but this guy might be half drow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Either that or he just has a very dark skin tone.
Me sketchy side-eyeing this man.
And then, last but not least, you see a incredibly pale-skinned, blonde-haired elf woman who is wearing like a set of wizard robes, but very in a very light and fashionable sort of styling, almost like more like a sari than your traditional wizard robes. And yeah, she sort of sidles up to where the rest of these individuals are standing around, and you get like a good look at her, and you realize that her eyes are pure white. In a way that you've you've seen only ever once before, when you met the Lady Hannah in the forest. But yes, this after a few moments, this squad assembles, and sort of, they form up. Lar sort of like gets them into a rank and like then approaches you and says, "Ready for orders, sir."
That's very well. Although just you know, you can relax a bit. This is just gonna be we're just gonna introduce you to to I guess what would be my squad. At least the people I would usually work with.
He nods.
So, everyone, this here is Kelariis Greysurge, and here we have our do I even know your last name?
Yes. Arya, Tallithsyr, come on.
Tallithsyr. Oh yeah, I forget. Like it's never used.
It's really never used.
Yeah.
And Arya Tallithsyr. Well, I thought it might be good to know. If for some reason there's ever a major issue, they should be able to help out. And yes, further then, well, I guess Arya Kelariis. These are, well, this is Lars Filta. So it's our well, shall we call it leader? Is the appropriate term of our new squad. Then we have
formally salutes.
Yep. Then we have Arderloon, more commonly known as Saber.
Dwarf steps up, salutes, says hello.
Okay, that brings us to I always forget if I'm saying
Kada.
Kada, that's it. I always want to add more letters into that name.
Yeah.
I don't know
In
why.
true mini fashion.
Fucking Dutch.
Wow.
I mean, I think it's just a mini.
I
No, yeah,
I
it's
just
just
like
mini.
to blame my dyslexia. It's fine.
Yeah, that checks out.
Okay. But yeah, this is Kada. Actually, I don't think I ever had her last name, did I?
You would have done when she signed the paperwork.
Oh yeah, so Kada
Lloydark.
Lloydark.
Yeah, the high elf woman in the sort of performance gear steps up, offers you like a half. Actually, no, I suppose she'd do a formal salute as well because she's ex-mercenary.
Yes.
Yeah, offers a formal salute, nods to the rest of you and says, "Pleasure."
And then we have Orzun Furze.
Ordon Furs.
Furs there.
It's spelt confusingly,
Look.
but it's Furs.
It's fine.
Yeah, the dark-skinned elf steps forwards, offers an incredibly deep bow. Oh yeah, that's the thing you notice. This guy, he wears a set of robes, but again, not wizardly sort of robes. More like what you're akin to seeing. Fuck names. Lithari wear.
It's
yeah, he offers a deep bow and steps back.
last but not least, Riala Mossborn.
The pale-skinned elf steps forwards, offers a polite curtsy.
There is also one person that isn't part of the squad, but is now associated with us. Called Madeline Orson. She's basically a healer that we're funding her supplies to just help the common folk around the place. But yes, But yeah, should we maybe have your tell you? I'm just gonna ask this out of character, I guess. Shall we make everybody like introduce themselves a little bit, or I don't know.
Yeah,
what,
sure. We can do that in sort of like a less formal sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, they slowly introduce themselves one by one. I guess for the sake of just simple explanation, I'll explain it in terms of game terms. Kada is a high elf. She is a rogue with a touch of magic abilities. There is Ardal Saber-Lun, who is a hill dwarf of incredibly few words. He manages to explain himself in about 10 words. But he is a tracker and was previously employed as a freelance manhunter.
And it used to be a guard.
Oh yes, and was a city guard in the city of Mountain Shade.
Yes.
Manhunter, as in.
As in bounty hunter.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
But don't worry, he has a strict code. He did not
but not of like the hitman.
No,
bounty hunter.
not a
Okay.
hitman bounty hunter, like a
Okay, like a bring somebody back.
yeah, like
Okay.
hunting down criminals, etc. Or
Gotcha.
like I forget the phrasing he used previously. I think he called it like deadbeats and no-gooders.
Yeah, something
Wow.
along those lines.
Wow.
Fine. But don't worry, guys. He does not do children. That was his one. That was one of his few requirements.
So basically, you've hired a Mandalorian. That's what you've done.
Kind of. Not quite. Not quite the same.
He's gonna read that someone's 50 and go, "Oh, this will be fine." Then show up and they're an infant. Then he's gonna go on loads of wacky adventures with this infant.
It's fine.
Yeah. Next one. You are introduced to Riala Mossborn, who I guess she wouldn't so much explain it herself, but Grim would probably explain it afterwards. She is an Aasimar elf.
Okay.
Yeah, none of you have ever encountered an Aasimar before, and it basically has to be explained to you by Grim what an Aasimar is. In that they are a once in a few hundred years sort of opportunity where a divine or at least very powerful being intercedes in the birth of another. And yeah, she introduces herself as a theurgist. She has some magical talent. Who trained in the Fey Courts in the Feywild. Which Arya immediately sort of like it makes you like a tiny bit uncomfortable, but you can like the fact that she's here is probably a good sign, but you know how tricky the Fey Courts can be, and if she's been trained in that sense, she's probably not a dab hand at like social customs and also deception. Lars introduces himself very loudly as Lars Vilter. He is a storm speaker of the Temple of Tempus. And yeah, he is a big man in a suit of armor capable of commanding lightning thanks to the blessings of his deity.
Yep.
Last but not least, Auden Furs introduces himself. He is indeed a half-drow. From born and raised in Cindershell Landing, who essentially came to seek out the Amber Eagle when he heard about their efforts.
Yeah.
He
also had some information that I will share later.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Well, I
And then-
guess after they've all introduced themselves, and I guess unless they had any questions, I just dismissed them.
Yeah, they don't seem to have any questions. Gorgo just sort of stands there, like waves and says, "Hi, I'm Gorgo."
I'm going.
Oh yeah, I guess we already knew Gorgo, so it's a little awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my sister.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you dismiss them, they depart. Kaden like hangs around for a moment and like observes the two of you, and then sort of like gives a wave and then departs.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's those were, well, our finest, I suppose.
Cal, who has just been like frantically scribbling for this whole thing, says, "That's rather an eclectic selection of individuals, although I suppose from the tales I've been told already, that's not uncommon for you."
Well, seems to work for us. So I think it's more, well, there's two things that are important: personality and skill. Like the other bits, don't really matter too much. Just the skills need to be able to work together, and well, as long as the personalities work, that nobody, no big clashes, and things should be fine. Also, different mindsets combined can usually lead to better ideas.
He scribbles down like every sort of word that you're saying, and just sort of nods and
no.
says, "Yes, no, I quite agree." I mean, there's old stories in the old tales of interspecies cooperation, but this could be something new.
Yes. Exactly. But yeah. Well, I guess that was the squad for you guys. I think Maddie might still be hanging around the town doing her work, but
yeah, she is still in
so
Ivywood Market.
So if you'll probably you might run into her, and feel free to say hi and introduce yourself, I guess.
Yeah, Maddie is a halfling cleric.
Okay.
And also a bit of a pacifist.
Perhaps better that she's not around this all the time then.
Well, you would be surprised. In the tournament, she did rather well, but oh well, I guess she wasn't a pacifist. She was but she would yeah. Well, I guess that would be the short version of the story, pretty much. She avoids violence more than other things, more than the average person.
Yeah, more appropriately, she is less fussy about who she helps after the fact.
Yes. But yeah. Well, I guess there are some details that I should. I'll wait till. I'll give till tomorrow, because I think Elizabeth will make it back, considering she sent a message. A day should be enough for her to get her powers back to jump over here. I hope.
Hopefully.
Or at least send another message, but I guess that's also a big if.
Big if. Major if.
Had she been out of contact the entire time?
She'd contact mostly if there was anything interesting, but I guess we've just been so busy with the tournament that we kind of didn't think about it too much.
Yeah, she was like, she messaged you to let you know she got there, and then it was just sort of like, oh, I'm gonna go do some stuff in the library now. Okay, bye. And then sort of before you knew it, it was starting to get towards like, oh yeah, she's been gone for kind of a long time, and I've not heard anything.
Oh boy.
Yep. She's got all those 6 weeks, and the only message she sent was saying, "Hi, it's been 6 weeks. Sorry."
But yeah. I guess if we're waiting for that, then we will skip ahead to the day after, when I suppose you guys all get up, sort of gather in the morning, turn up in the war room, and then Elizabeth just zoop.
Yeah, she probably shows up to breakfast, I'd imagine.
Are you just going to teleport up in the middle of breakfast?
No, no, I said after breakfast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, give A, them, and B, us a time to have breakfast.
Yeah.
And then teleport us both over.
Yeah, so Elizabeth
Give us a bit of time to wake up.
Elizabeth teleports into the war room with a tag-along. As Elizabeth sort of like steps forward into the room and presumably immediately begins talking, you notice behind her that there is an elven woman with like a shock of crimson hair, like not just red hair, but like proper crimson hair. Arya, you would immediately recognize her from the freckled skin pattern, the red hair, and the features. She is an Autumn-Eladrin.
Okay.
And I reckon the first thing Elizabeth probably says is, "Oh shit! I didn't mean to put us here. Sorry."
Well, at least you're back.
Yeah, I guess she'd then like turn to like Ironclaw to say, "I didn't leave you two waiting too long, did I?"
No, we just got back yesterday. Yesterday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes things slightly better.
The figure like sort of like dusts off her robes and says, "I feel like I'm interrupting something now."
Yeah. I'm terrible and I've forgotten her name.
Angelica.
Yeah, she'll say, "Yeah, this is So I'll tell the full story later, but for now, let's just do introductions while she's here. This is Angelica. I met her during my research.
She waves.
I mean, I can say it here. This is very much a private room, usually. So you know how we were looking for? I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a secret room. You know how we're looking for spies?
Wow, way to open.
Look.
Yes, we were hoping to find someone who could navigate some of the intricacies of information gathering.
I like that. That sounds better than spy.
Yeah, it is much better. So, and then she like gestures open hand just towards Angelica, like, ta-da!
Well,
Angelica sort of like rubs one of the side of her temples. It just sort of says, this is not the introduction I was hoping for."
I'm so
I would
sorry.
agree.
I was gonna put us in the. I wanted to put us in the courtyard.
Well, I would agree. This is a little unusual, but how about we half forget that first bit happened, and I'm Quagrim Daemaris, and when you were what was your full name?
She sort of offers like a short like bow and just says, "My name's Angelica Calfera."
Welcome, Angelica. Well, I assume that you were interested in gathering information for us. From what I can tell.
She sort of like ups it off and goes, "Well, that's kind of half the story, but sure, for the purposes of introduction, let's go with that."
Well, I guess we've got time now, so
yeah. So, shall I just start at the beginning?
Maybe I should start.
Okay. Yeah. You were first. You start.
So, hello everyone. I'm Angelica. I happen to have a skill set in observation and acquisition of information. due to recent events, I find myself, I guess, no longer affiliated with my previous employer. And Elizabeth here suggested that you might have use of somebody with my talents. And as I had nowhere else to go, I figured this was a good enough place to get started.
Well, I guess we do indeed have we do indeed have a need for someone who can gather some information for us. And I guess someone experienced would only make that even better. But yeah, so yeah. I will admit, like, it will probably take a little bit before we, actually settle on how we want to do things exactly. But otherwise, I think you'll be welcome, or you're welcome to. Well, yeah, you're welcome. I was gonna say we'll give you a chance, but no, you're just welcome. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think the details of that are between you two.
Yeah, and Angelica sort of nods and says, yeah, usually I tend to work with a singular individual to reduce the chance of information getting out, but...
Well, there you go. Here's our literal commander.
I guess that would be the name, yes. Yeah, that'd be fine. Well, if you don't, if that's what you would prefer, then I think that can be arranged. It's, I guess, there will be. I assume there will be more, requirements potentially, but we'll.
Yeah, I feel like that's something we can discuss.
Yeah, but
probably later.
Beyond introductions, that's. I guess. I assume Arya and Kelariis are here too.
Yes.
Probably, yeah, I would imagine.
So, I guess here are the others that are second in charge, I guess, or kind of in command. Like, yeah, they're the next step
the
down.
the other half of the rest of my group.
Yes.
She just observes the two of you for a moment. What are the two of you's current attitudes on this woman?
I think curious mostly. Definitely not any this is unexpected at the very least.
Arya?
Quite shocked.
Okay. Yeah, so Angelica sort of analyzes the two of you for a moment and says, well, I can see this has already been quite enough for introductions, so I'm going to let Elizabeth do her thing, and let's catch up sometime.
Yes. Yeah, we do have some things we'll have to discuss with Elizabeth, so we'll be sure to catch up to you before the end of the day. Just feel free to hang around outside or wherever.
And I'm very sorry for dropping you in this situation, Angelica.
Honestly, I feel like I'm starting to get used to it already.
Faster than they got used to it.
What?
Yeah. I'm used to working with unconventional people, and I will admit you are slightly more unconventional than I am used to, but... Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
I'm gonna just hang around outside because I have no idea where we are right now.
Perhaps
yeah, we can...
if you see there's a dwarf walking around, you tell him Oh, yeah.
Would he not be in his office downstairs?
He might be in his office. Well, if he isn't,
Yeah. Down the stairs. First door on the left.
Okay.
he'd probably want to meet you, and
Yeah.
he'll fill you in on all the things you want to know for now.
His name's Von der Ironfist. He basically runs things while we're not around.
Okay, I got it. Time for my second most unusually uncomfortable introduction of the day.
Sorry.
Just sort of
Don't
like, like runs her fingers through the shock of hair and then just like walks out the room like, oh, okay then.
Yeah. As soon as the door closes, Elizabeth just goes, "Yeah, that was not the plan."
Yes, bringing a spy, as you would like to put it, into a war room is usually
Look.
not the best way to,
See, maybe
protect information.
Maybe when we get the castle, we should have a proper room for teleporting.
Well, I have considered, I've asked, I've asked what it would cost to get a teleportation circle, but it's it would
it's a lot of maintenance.
Like, unless you're willing to spend like a year over here, it's gonna be
Yeah, exactly.
very, very pricey to do.
Exactly. But anyway, shall I start at the beginning?
Well, explain yourself, I guess.
Okay. I will start off by saying the reason I have not contacted you for 6 weeks is because, for me, it's been 4 days. Weird time stuff happened. Basically, I was doing my usual research into the guy's notes. Our good friend Rodel Amberon.
Yes.
I obviously got help from Lady Felkir, who helped me locate some works, because apparently they had some of his original books, which was real damn good. Started reading through them. There was 2 books in particular that were interesting, obviously, to the research we were doing. One of which especially so because it was an entire book written just on the Abyss.
Okay.
Turns out that book had a spell hidden in it. As I kind of suspected, he's mad, but he's clearly not an idiot. There's always method to madness like this, and yeah, his method was code hidden in his books. Every single book had a cipher code and the key for the cipher code from the following book. So deciphering all of that led me to basically what looked like arcane words, like how I would write down a spell in my book. This, combined with the fact that just reading his book normally had led to strange whispers in my head, made me understandably absolutely terrified. So I enlisted the help of Lady Felkir and names. Yeah,
Yes.
and Professor Zale.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Zale, yeah.
Yeah, to essentially conduct the experiment on whatever the hell this spell was under more controlled circumstances. Because the last thing I wanted to was to, read this spell, have something terrible happen, and me be the only one there. So Lady Falcon was in the room, Zale was observing. I read out the spell. At first, nothing seemed to happen, right until I took a step and completely passed out. Where I found myself was a really weird sort of... I guess it was a kind of pocket plane. And all that was there was Angelica, whose voice I had heard upon completing the spell and before passing out, because she was trying to tell me not to read the book. So yeah, we were now both trapped in this weird dimension, not knowing how to get out. In an absolute terrified state, I had to send a message to Lady Afelkir not to read the book, which thankfully got through to her. So she didn't end up trapped with us. I'll spare you the details of exactly what happened in there. Suffice it to say, we found a way out. We weren't actually back in the college, so I had to send a message and quickly teleport back. At which point, yeah, Lady Afelkir broke the news that that I'd been missing for 6 weeks.
Well then.
Yeah, and Angelica may have been in there for a full year and a half.
I guess that's. Yeah, I guess she's only been. Oh, she must have been in there for like a month or two then. Wait, no, not a month or two. That would be way, way more. Well, regardless.
I would have said that, you know, to give you an idea of how long she thought she was there, she hadn't got hungry yet. But then when we got out, we realized that thing suppressed all feeling. So she got very hungry the second we got out.
Wow.
Do you happen to know how she got in there?
By reading the same book I did, because Lady Afelkir described how someone had asked after the same books I'd been asking for, but then mysteriously just left without saying anything after reading them.
Have you asked her why she was reading the book?
Not yet.
Hmm.
Because I'll be honest, while we were in there, we were kind of more worried about getting out than anything else.
Yes,
So,
well, wait.
technically, I haven't even been with her for a full 24 hours.
Huh. I kind of
So we
assumed
got
that you.
out, had dinner, and then immediately went to sleep. And then she had nowhere else to go, so I brought her back here, and she happened to have talents that lined up with what we were looking for. So
I
here
will
she
admit,
is.
usually when you recruit like I kind of assumed you had slightly more, were slightly closer to her, considering you were like
Well, I don't know,
recommending her
I'm
as
close-
spy, but
Look,
Hmm.
I very much feel closer to her than someone I normally would have, having spent that little time with them. But that's just what happens when you're in like that kind of scenario.
well, I guess just keep in mind we'll have to ask her what she was doing, because
Yeah, no, I 100% understand that.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's why I was gone as long as I was.
Did you get anything out of the book in the end?
I did quite a lot, actually.
Okay.
At which point she'd probably produce a piece of paper on which all of this stuff is written, which I'll just put in the Second Age Discord. Oh, never mind, it's over 2,000 characters.
Just Google Doc
Great
it.
start.
No, I don't even need to do that. I'll just send it in smaller in batches.
Okay.
Oh, and also, while I was away, Lady Afelkir was nice enough to share with me notes that she'd made on the book.
It's also good that nobody can spell
Yeah.
Afelkir.
Yep. Shh. But yeah, at which point she just says, to summarize, I guess the biggest discovery was finding out that, well, how to potentially survive being in the abyss. Thank you.
Yeah.
Which is every single plane having an arcane resonance, which corresponds to a certain gemstone. And in the case of the abyss, that would be amethyst.
Well, that would hold on. And then that would explain the choice of gemstone for this, and I will probably pull out the amulet that we ended up getting.
Yep. So yeah, Kelariis produces an amethyst amulet on a golden chain.
Ooh.
well, to make a long story short, I mean, you both know that we, indicating Arya, went to find more information on Visastris.
Yeah.
We ended up finding a lot more than that in a couple of senses.
Mm.
She's still alive. I won't go into the big details of that for the moment, but
I'm sorry, what?
there's a
Yeah, it's a long story.
it's a long story that we don't quite even have all the answers for ourselves, despite having spoken to her.
Elizabeth looks like a 6-year-old who's just met Santa Claus.
We'll come back to that, but to make things, this is the amulet that she made with the help of it was somebody from the elemental plane of fire, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, with somebody from the elemental plane of fire to protect her when she went to the abyss. And she said that if we are able to replicate the enchantment, and I guess the properties of the amulet, that it could probably help protect us as well.
Ah.
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Sorry, say again, you kind of cut out?
Yeah, like, she basically, like, she mostly whispers, but it's just like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's
I guess I can cross off
kind
the
of on
semi-mythical
loan.
part.
Yeah, it's kind of on loan, so
Oh,
don't
yeah, of course.
destroy it, I guess, or lose it.
I will treat this with more care than I would my own child, should I ever have one, which I won't.
That was a lot of information in one sentence, but okay. Yeah, and I'll offer it to Elizabeth, unless Grim also wants to look at it, but
Oh, I'll take your word for it.
I mean, yeah, Elizabeth happily takes it, and it's just like...
I'll just, see it as it gets passed along, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Elizabeth's just like holding it in her hands and like running her hands over it, and just like
Although,
basically half playing with it as she looks at it. Just like, whoa.
well, I can see you're already taking great care of it, being all over it with your hands. But actually, that does lead me to one question: how big is the actual amethyst in there? Well, otherwise, it's mainly because I want to figure out how big of an amethyst we're gonna have to find for.
It's
for each of us.
reasonably sized. It's probably the width of your fist and half as thick. Bearing in mind you've got smaller hands than everyone else.
Oh yeah, no, I should not use my real life hands. Those are...
Yeah, it's not
Don't
human
do.
fist sized. It's gnome fist sized. So, yeah. Maybe like 3 of. It's hard to describe, but
Well, that's good enough for me. Or I don't know if the other
Um,
ones want more, but
probably about 3 inches wide.
interesting.
okay.
Oh,
Like that's a decent sized gemstone. But
Yeah,
not,
it's
like,
it's
massive.
a chunky gemstone.
Yeah. At which point Elizabeth probably suddenly pokes up and goes, "Oh, I forgot the other super important detail about what I found out.
Yes.
I know where. Well, I know the name of the place where Thara's Dune is supposedly being kept, but it's a one-way trip.
What do you mean by that?
We can get there, but we can't get back.
Okay.
At least
Due to
by
the
any-
way due to the way time dilation works in that particular part of the abyss, you would just never get out if you tried to leave.
Well, that would be I guess.
I will point out, from a perspective of the person who has all the information, that's not strictly true.
But that is what she discovered, right?
No.
Oh, it's not what she actually discovered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the precise piece of information was that the Void Tower, which is the space, it would only be accessible to somebody skilled in dimensional manipulation, and as long as the Void Harrow remains stable, it would be a one-way trip due to the time dilation caused by the effects of Void Harrow.
Oh.
So,
There you go. That's me assigning that inside common information to the wrong bit.
So what you're that's an interesting comment. Does like, hey, all you need to do is destabilize the plane and you'll be fine. It's like,
Mhm.
oh,
yeah,
No, it's not. Well, it's not the whole plane.
no,
it's just
it is a section of the plane. It is the Void Harrow, which I forget
I guess
how I
it'd be the
describe it.
equivalent of. Well, I guess it'd be the equivalent of destabilizing the crossroads.
ooh, that's...
A little less.
It's
Although-
the closest example we've got.
Yeah.
But like, in theory, couldn't you just walk out of there to like a not in like a place that is adjacent to it?
Well,
Not that that would be a journey I'd want to make through, you know.
yeah. First, like, I have no idea about any further details of the Void Harrow other than its name and that it exists. I don't know how big it is. I don't know exactly where it even is in the abyss. And scholars have theorized the abyss is infinite. And if it isn't, then it leads into a place you very much don't want to be.
A place.
A place where basically every single one of the elemental planes combines with the abyss itself.
Yeah, it's essentially the point where matter ceases to be matter and starts being all sorts of weird quantum shit.
Basically, yeah. Basically, you go out. Yeah, either the abyss is infinite or is it infinite, and it leads into a place where you literally cannot exist.
But yeah.
So just walking out is probably not a good idea.
Well, it's an emergency option, I guess. Not that we wanted to go into that, nor do we have plans of going there right now. But
Yeah.
that said, so you guys found the amulets, and I guess you found somewhat similar information to Elizabeth. Or did you-
Yeah. There was also a bit more that Viserys told us. I'm typing it out so I don't have to explain it all in a bunch of
Yeah.
words, and I realized that I should have been doing that, so I'm doing that very quickly. But Kelariis
There was
will
quite a
explain
lot.
it in her words while I type it out.
Yeah.
Because I handwrite my notes and can't just copy paste this.
Yeah.
Which is also a thought. We could, if we ever have to go back to the Shadowfell, we could theoretically imply the same magic.
If we know what gem we need.
Yeah.
And if we have someone who knows the enchantment that goes along with the gem.
I mean, surely it's a similar sort of enchantment.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
This is
like,
out of
I-
character, but like,
like,
Kelariis is kind of shit.
I have no clue how different it is.
Well, yeah. Like, what exactly is this amulet? Can I have a closer look at it and be like, what is?
You can make me an Arcana check.
Yes, that's very much what I'd like to do.
Okay. So
Nice.
this thing is basically just like as it's in the palm of your hand. It is almost augmented and amplified by your innate abjuration abilities. This thing is basically just humming with abjuration energy. Even with a natural 20 on your Arcana check, you can't determine the full nature of this amulet's enchantment without further study, because it is far too complex.
Yeah, understandable.
But with holding this thing comes sort of an innate understanding that this thing protects against something phenomenally powerful, and it does it pretty damn well.
It protect.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
But it only
it do not attack or consume additional snack.
Wow. We could make it do those things.
You could.
Anyway, yeah. So now Elizabeth's like basically just looking at this thing in total disbelief that she's even holding it in her hands.
Yeah.
Let alone going to be about to conduct the process of replicating the enchantment.
Yeah, to give you an indication of sort of like the level of magical complexity, the quote-unquote arcane computer that you found in Lathaman's fortress is probably only slightly more complicated than this enchantment.
Nice.
Well, I guess we'll need to go to the elemental plane of fire to find whomever helped out, or maybe someone else. But that is, I guess, our one clue.
Unless it was just.
I like it's just taking so long to type it out. There must be so many notes.
It's not only look. I'm also trying to translate it from my version of notes, which is slightly different than what I would type to everybody else. I mean, it's similar because I do write things out pretty longhand for the most part, but I also want it to make more sense out of the context of having heard it and using this to remind myself of what I heard, for example. Also, formatting it in Discord chat is different.
I guess while you're typing that out, Grim, your attention is drawn by the fact that there is some shouting going on outside. It's very clearly Lars.
As always.
Something is going on outside.
Well, I guess. Well, there were some things I wanted to say, but we'll get to that later. I'll go see what it is.
Okay. So as you are beginning to head down the stairs, let's stop this music.
I was gonna say, can I just, if he leaves, can I just put the amulet in a pouch and follow him?
Yep. Yeah, you store it and follow Grim. You begin to head down the stairs. Right as as you're about halfway down the stairs, Sidani sort of rounds the corner, looking a little concerned. And so says, "Ah, good. I was looking for you."
Yes. What's happening?
So there's a column of soldiers just outside the front gate. They look like elves. The ones that came with Lady Afelkia previously. Lars seems to think we're under attack and is trying to rally a guard.
God.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
well, we
go
need to stop him.
I'll go speak to Lars.
Should the rest of us go and greet them, perhaps?
Actually, what I'm thinking is I'm just gonna tell him to stand down and go outside, kind of thing. I should probably have informed them of our arrangement, or the letter I sent. Oh well.
You didn't. Surely you got a response before I came back. Why would you not tell him?
We didn't
actually get a response.
What?
I assumed this might be the response.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Okay. So I'll find the shouting Lars.
Yeah, he's fairly easy to find because he's basically managed to, through a combination of yelling and just general military form, has arrayed several ranks of soldiers up in front of the gate and is preparing his own weapons and things.
Oh my god.
Lars, please stand down for now. I think I know what this is about. I'll go out and talk to them. They're friends of ours most of the time.
He in the middle of sort of getting his gear ready as you're talking to him, he sort of he pauses for a moment and sort of says, "Ah, I see."
Yes, we are friends with the matriarch, and I think this might be a detachment. But I'll go out and check what's really going on, and I guess it doesn't hurt to keep our guard up a little, but Yes, I'll go out.
You like turn away, and Lars just turns to the rest of the crowd and says, "Stand to the ready, men, but nobody moves until my signal."
I guess that's better than being on high alert.
Well, look, I don't know what's happening, and I am making assumptions. So,
Well, this is the thing. If they wanted to attack us, they'd be doing it. I don't think they need to be outside the gates to be doing that.
don't think about it too much. I'm just trying to de-escalate without making Lars look like a fool. Okay.
So Donnie just sort of like leads in and goes, "Can we talk about how he's doing my job?"
We'll get to that, but I'll head outside.
Yeah. You step outside there is indeed a column of Storm Guard with a number of wagons behind them.
I was gonna say, in response to Sir Darnik, I just sort of like gently punch her on the arm and just be like, "You'll have to take him down a peg then," and then just run after Grim.
I can't believe the first thing.
She just like stares you down.
Elizabeth
Look, I want to back up Sir Darnik.
I like how Elizabeth is back for not even a day and she's already stoking fires. It's like, oh
That
my.
seems incredibly on brand.
Yeah.
So
fair.
the four of you
Look.
march out to this column of Storm Guard,
I have
and
no attachment to Lars.
as they sort of like clock you approaching, like not armed. Well, you are armed, but like not actively presenting weapons.
Yes.
They sort of form up, and a detachment of 2 Storm Guard like step up towards you. Take a stance and wait for you to approach. As you approach, one of them takes like a step forward and says, "Quagrim Daemaris, I assume."
That would be me.
He
yes.
He
continue.
pulls a scroll and hands it to you.
Thank you. I will open the scroll and read it.
Okay.
I want to read it over his shoulder.
Well, Grim reads it aloud, I presume. So, but yes, the letter says, "To the leadership of the Amber Eagle, the Council of Elvenkind is aware of the disruptive faction known as the Band of the Aspects. Those among their number are considered political dissidents, and the news of their capture is pleasing to us. However, the Council does not recognise the jurisprudence of the town of Ivywood Market and would request the turnover of said captives to the jurisdiction of the Stormguard officers accompanying this missive. Given your previous actions assisting the Council to resolve matters of state, we hope for your cooperation in this matter. The Council's appreciation would be forthcoming upon their incarceration."
I guess
that's
what we wanted
exactly
to do
what we
anyway.
thought would happen. Yeah.
yes.
Shall
well-
we go get them then?
Yes. We'll go get the captives. Also, I apologize for our for the our troops being on alert. A little jumpy currently. But we show. I believe we kept them. Yeah, we
Yeah,
kept
they're
them in
in the-
Ivywood Market, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we aren't actually keeping them here because we are currently rebuilding stuff. We are keeping them over at Ivywood Market's holding cells.
Well, we should probably get them from the holding cells and bring them here.
Well, I guess it's up
I
to
feel
you.
like I feel like that'd be better than.
Oh yeah, I
you know,
guess
we
they
were
don't
all-
want
we
to
were
make a
trying to
fuss,
avoid-
do you?
Yeah, we were trying to avoid the whole diplomatic
Yeah,
incident
that's
thing,
true.
and having Stormguard marching through the towns of marching through a human town might.
That
Cool.
is very true. I forgot that for a second. Well, we will
yeah.
go retrieve the offenders. Since the I hope you. Well, I assume you have enough room. Yeah. Well, we'll
He-
deal with that once we.
He nods behind him to the number of wagons and says, "We've brought plenty."
Okay. Excellent.
Then,
Well,
then, yeah,
I'll just get some of my men to assist in the transportation, and then we'll bring him over. It might take a little while because it's a little walk.
2 Storm Guard officers like exchange a look and just turn back and say, "That will suffice."
Okay, excellent. I'll just I'll look at the others though. Guess you're free to do whatever. I'll go get I'll go get some mercenaries and we'll transport the prisoners. Unless one of you wants to come along, of course. But yeah, you're free to come along. But yeah, I'll just start walking. Also, I will tell. I will be sure to inform Lars of the situation.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, Elizabeth would like to go up to Arya. Go up to Arya while this is happening and just say like, okay. I know obviously you weren't here to panic about it, but I'm very, very sorry for taking 6 weeks, but I really did try to take all the precautions I thought were necessary.
Can't believe you're already apologizing.
I mean,
Look, Arya's scary, and she wants Arya to actually like her.
Arya's not scary if you don't make dumbass decisions.
That's exactly why she's trying to not. So she's, just wants to point out that I tried to be cautious.
I imagine Arya like gives her a long look for a second and then goes, "Well, things happen, I suppose. But perhaps sending a message might have been prudent at some point."
Yeah, I guess I got kind of caught up in the moment.
So Grim, as you you approach Lars to like give him the lowdown on what's happening, he dismisses the ranks behind him. Turns back to you and sort of says, "Well, as glad as I am that we're not under attack. That's a rather large force out there for a handful of prisoners."
Turns out these troublemakers are known, and I suspect there might be slightly more going on than we're aware of currently, but at least in this case, I'm sure they'll deal with these rebels as is deemed appropriate. Should be fine.
I'm sure it will be.
Besides, I guess recently I can't really blame them with all the dragon showing up and that's just, and then like some other troubles that we've helped out with. They guess they don't want to be taking any chances.
Still, what is that? Must be a division of elite soldiers for a handful of prisoners. Seems like overkill to me.
I would. Yeah.
If I weren't not meaning to disparage your allies in any fashion, but if I didn't know any better, I would say this might be a posture.
It could be. I guess considering we're building a proper keep, not everybody's going to be happy, but I think as long as we don't make any unreasonable demands and they don't, I think we'll get along just fine. Because we do have an inn under council, as in, like, we have some friends on the council, personal friends of that. So we'll be, if anything will really go wrong, we would be informed in a less formal manner.
Diplomatic allies are always useful. But if it comes to it, once the walls are up, we'll be ready.
I'm sure we will, and I'm sure you'll make it impossible for them. You won't give them a chance to take anything.
He grins and just claps you on the shoulder.
I'm sure we'll get you out fighting, but let's hope They won't be our allies for now.
Huh. Well, if they want to try it, they can come in and give it a shot.
But well, I guess I need someone to help me transport the prisoners. So if you want to come along, or if you've got other things to do, I'll grab someone else or some other people.
He shakes his head and says, I have nothing doing.
Excellent. Well, I could use the help.
He sort of like turns back towards the crowd, like looks around and says, Go, you're with me. She sort of like looks up from like where she was standing, is like, alright then. Yeah, and the two of them set about setting up this prisoner exchange.
Yes.
Or delivery.
Actually, aren't there like 5 prisoners?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll grab a couple of random mercs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was gonna.
Mercs.
Well, I guess they can take care of it, can't they?
Yeah, they can sort it out. Leave you to get back to your conversation.
Yes. Wait, my conversation was. Oh, you mean or Cav's conversation?
Well, or your conversation that you were having upstairs before you were rudely interrupted.
Oh, that one.
Like shouting.
Yes.
I was gonna say, yeah. Do we go back to the war room?
We should. We probably should also write like I'll probably give them a give them something to write a small note or something in response. That seems like the diplomatic thing to do, right?
Yeah, you could write them a note and
Oh yeah,
feed it
no,
back
that
to
was
them.
that was like just a general question to the party.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
sorry.
that makes sense.
I mean,
Just Grim being
Yeah, that's
like,
good.
oh, is that in
I'm-
character?
yeah, that was in character. Like, I'll just
In that case, yeah, Elizabeth would not go. Maybe.
I mean, it can't hurt. They're not going to exactly be upset if you send them another note along with, like,
No.
if you send another note back along.
You're right. Well, let's get to the war room, and I'll whilst we I have some things to discuss, and I'll just write a small affirmation of things. But yes, the one thing I still wanted to mention is, turns out one of our recruits actually knows a little more about the Dread Legion than I kind of expected.
Oh.
It's the half drow.
Of course.
Well, like there's two things that they knew about. First off, apparently the Dread Legion is using connections in the Underdark to stay hidden and do all kinds of things. And second off, I can't quite remember where, but he mentioned a city or village of some kind where they were openly worshipping it, or there was a church openly worshipping the Dread Legion.
Openly worshipping Ferrous Dune, yes. That was.
Ferrous
Let me confirm. That is in Cindershell Landing itself.
Cindershell. Yeah, I forgot to write that name down.
Yes,
Cindershell.
that's
Sorry, they
the
were using Underdark connections to do what now? I'm trying to,
Stay hidden.
to move
Okay.
move around undetected and remain hidden.
Yeah, just general, stuff. Bad things for us.
Mm.
I
Uh,
wasn't quite sure what to do about it yet, so
Yeah, the other thing that Auden did mention about that is that the fact that there were some drow helping the Dread Legion was causing some internal unrest among the drow, which was of interest.
yes. And and considering all of this, I was also half wondering kind of wondering to myself, how informed do we want our stars to be, or our elite squad? Because I kind of feel like we should. Oh, I've kind of informed Orden, but the others not so much. And I feel like it might be in our best interest to update them on what's happening.
Do we want
Was
an
that-
elite squad?
You know, like Lars, Orden, Riala, Saber.
How much you want to let them know about your plans?
Yeah.
Ah.
And the situation.
Hmm.
Because I feel like, well, at the very least, I'm going to inform them that we have beef with the Dread Legion. The extent of the beef, I'm not quite sure.
Well. Okay, well. I'm probably not the best person to be making this decision. How long have they been here?
How long would they have been here?
Like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, 2 weeks. I'd say maybe a week, because it's like 4 weeks to organize a tournament and get people here seems very short.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
week.
Yeah. I don't know. Then
Like, well,
I don't know. I think we at least need to wait a little bit.
I'd say the earlier the better. Because if they're associated with them, it's not gonna matter if they know or not. If they don't agree with it, well, I guess we'll not give them all the details to begin with. But if they don't agree with it, it's still early enough for them to leave without us having invested too much into them.
Well, I would say they should have no more information than we'd give to Sidani or Thalithsyr.
No, that would definitely be the case. I feel like Sidani and
In fact, they should
Thalithsyr.
probably have. In fact, yeah, I think Sidani and Thalithsyr are honestly owed more of an explanation. Well, maybe not owed more of an explanation than we give them, but like, I don't know. They definitely should know more than your new recruits do.
Yes. Well, I think they do know more because they I'm not they knew about the Cabal and all that stuff as well, which honestly we do not need to tell the new guys about because that's all been dealt with.
Yeah.
Except Cal, who would very much like to know about it.
Yeah, but I don't know, Cal.
But yeah, there's no, they should know no more. They should, yeah, no more than Sidani and Thalithsyr. Ideally, less. That's
You know what?
I would say.
How about this? I'll tell them that we are at odds with the Dread Legion. I will tell them that they have actively made threats against us, and we're looking into it. Not going into much detail.
And if they ask what the Dread Legion is,
Well,
which they probably will.
they're cult worshipping Ferrous, and that's not it's a bit secret, but it's not it's not
Yeah, okay.
giving away anything
Yeah,
special.
I feel like that's kind of like the like. I mean, why
Yeah.
wouldn't we tell them
Okay,
that?
yeah, we can. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm totally okay with telling them that.
And if they have questions, we'll deal with that.
I'm gonna let you guys deal with that.
I feel like I'm gonna be the one dealing with it, but that's fine. I'll figure it out.
Also,
Okay.
do you think maybe we do need more official rank around here?
It would make us look a lot more professional, to be honest.
Because yeah, we're a bit loosely formed for a rapidly growing military organization.
We really are. I'll work on it. Well, I'll have maybe I'll also help. I'll get some inspiration from Kel.
Well, yeah, you're obviously the commander, the founder of all of that. But I guess the rest of us need proper rankings and levels of authority.
Yeah, we'll sort it out. But I'll think of something in my spare time.
The sooner the better. Otherwise, anyone with a loud voice can just rally the group.
Yeah. Well, at least it has to be a kind of familiar voice for now. But we're small enough. But yes. I guess the next real question is, what are we going to do about the information, or with the information we gained? Because we learned a lot about the Abyss. We learned nothing, well, basically nothing about the Red Legion. Like, we learned to have, well, that they operate in the Underdark.
Well, don't you guys know someone who formerly had a lot of Underdark contacts?
Yes, that is true.
And, well, potentially we have someone who can help set up more of a network of informants.
Yes.
I think at this
Well-
point, I guess we're information gathering with what little leads we've got.
I think, yes, like, I guess you'll be able to help us, Well,
Because well, with what little we know, I'm not sure what us going to the Underdark could achieve, so I think
no, you're right. We should definitely talk to, not Sidani.
Simone.
Simone, that's it.
Yeah.
Sidani wouldn't know much.
or yeah, no, Simone's probably going to be a decent lead.
Well, that's right. You guys got any other clues? Anything we need to chase? Oh wait, of course. There's I was gonna send out for new group to I guess you didn't hear about that. I hadn't told you. There were some strange going-ons in what's it called Silver something.
Helm's Blessing.
No, the only part that wasn't in there. Like, okay.
Yeah,
Helm's
you're
Blessing.
thinking of the town that was next to Helm's Blessing.
I know. It's there were some weird things happening in Helm's Blessing. I thought it might be a good first outing for our for a freshly made group. I should also mention, even though Ordon is part of the group, but like him being a half drow and all that, people are a little slow to trust him. So I have kind of said he might have to wait some out a bit. So whilst he gains their trust, but that's just so you know.
What about Sidani and Thalithsyr?
What about?
Well, would they not be kind of... I mean, they were always itching to get out there more.
As much as I would like them out there, I feel like I kind of want this to be like their first bonding experience. If you kind of catch my drift.
No, yeah, I know what you mean, but like...
Or did you just want to set Sidani and Thalithsyr into Helm's the
Well, look,
Helm's Blessing.
Blessing.
Blessing? I
You're-
kept wanting deep was on the tongue all the time. It's like no deep.
Yep.
Uh,
But yeah, that... I don't know, we were always saying, like, you know, we'll give Sidani and Thalithsyr more important outing jobs, and now we've recruited 6 new people who are going to send on an outing, and Sidani and Thalithsyr are just going to stay here?
Yes, we're sending you on an outing that's basically a stakeout. I don't think they're going to be too upset by it.
Yeah, considering the circumstances, like, this is very much a milk run.
This is
Okay.
the kind of thing that you get handed, and you're like, really? I guess we'll do it.
Okay.
I mean, you haven't told them what the actual, like, the lead that you
yes.
have is.
Oh, the
Yeah,
lead is
like-
basically there's just been some weird going on, and like I heard it. I was talking to Maddie about like what was going on in Helm's Blessing, and she mentioned that there were some weird things. And I was like, you know what? Well, maybe we should have a look. And I thought we could just send them to have a look, see if there's anything suspicious. If there is anything suspicious, then I guess it's up to their discretion how they want to deal with it. If they want to inform us, although they should definitely inform us if there is anything, well, extraordinary. But like they might deal with it on the spot.
Well, yeah. I guess we should be informed either way. Do they have an easy way of contacting us?
Haven't really checked yet.
You should probably check that.
They don't have access to message, if that's what you're asking.
That would be the easiest way, unfortunately.
But what you could do is you could have Vondal check in with them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
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 I guess it wouldn't be the worst to have a communication station. You know what? That will work. And then if something is really bad, then like if they don't respond, then we know something is up.
If we had the resources, I could
You
make
could.
scrolls. Potentially.
They do have a wizard
If
among
we
their
thought it was
number.
worth it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, aren't scrolls like kind of expensive?
Fairly, but sending isn't exactly the level of spell we were looking to craft last time.
Oh, that's,
Last time we were looking
that's
at
fair.
7th and 8th level spells. Sending
Oh,
only
well, but-
3rd.
Like honestly, like I think this will be no problem. So we'll just have Fondal check in every now and then we'll figure out something for Sidani and Thalithsyr. Maybe we can have Ordon join them.
Well, worst case
If they
scenario,
don't
well, worst case scenario, if it's a wizard in their number, I could give her the scroll, and she could just put it in her spellbook.
I don't think there is a wizard in there.
There is.
Oh, there is. Oh,
Re-
okay,
Riala is
she
a
is
wizard.
wizard.
Yeah,
I-
I could just teach her sending before they head out, maybe.
It would not be the worst idea.
I mean, in the long run, that sounds like it'd probably be a good idea anyway if
Yeah,
she
it-
could learn it.
It's a 3rd level spell, so yeah, if you you
Yeah.
invest the time and resources, I don't see why not.
Yeah, 'cause it'd just be like the equivalent of her. But I guess would I have to make a spell? Could she copy it directly from my spellbook?
You could copy it from your spellbook, but you'd still need to expend the components and
Yeah,
stuff.
she'd still have to expend components to actually have it.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
we-
that's
we-
an investment we'll happily make.
Yeah, so yeah, I figured as much.
Technically not in the rules for the thing, but I'm going to allow it because, yeah.
Yeah.
Just such a useful utility spell. Oh well. Okay, well, having that sorted, I guess we'll just be waiting for an answer from them.
Yeah.
As soon as we send them. I'm not sure honestly, I'm not sure what we should do. I was hoping this would give us, like, you'd find some kind of traces or something.
Well, I guess I was never looking for the Dread Legion. None of us were.
Well, I assume you
We
were
were just-
I assume you were always on the, keeping an
yeah,
ear
well,
out.
Yeah, I was always keeping an eye out for the Dread Legion, but I wasn't actually looking for them.
Well, perhaps we could have a look at in
Yes.
Cinder. Oh, come on! Where did my there my notes went? Cinder Shell. Well, because we know that there is a detachment of some kind there, and they did try to contact Ordon in some way. Oh no! Wait! Oh, of course we need to. I completely forgot. We need to talk to. Yeah, we need to talk about what's it called? The Underdark to. Oh,
Simone.
Simone, yes.
Yes.
I'll also point out Kelariis has given you a bunch of information that you haven't gone through yet as well. So
Oh yes, of course. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Check
sorry, I said that in the
Yeah.
middle of.
yeah, do you want to just give us like a brief rundown of what it is that you learned?
Yeah, I mean, most of it, I think, when I was copying over the notes that Cav posted, it's kind of also covered. I talked about the amulet already. There's mention in the notes from Elizabeth that, like, the layers of the abyss are not super well defined and that they kind of change around a lot. The demon web was also brought up, and is actually, like, claimed by Lolth, as opposed to, like, just something that the House of Lolth knew about. At least that's what Visastros told us. And we could potentially navigate it either by kind of just like puzzling through the weird shit that it does, or we could attempt to find an artifact called the Astrian Compass. I think I've said that correctly.
Yes.
That was stolen. That basically Visastros didn't have use for, so she didn't really like bother trying to stop the thief that took it or like try to track it down. So we have no idea where it is, but that would like that's what she used to navigate it, and it might be helpful to us if we could manage to locate it again. But also, who knows where it is at this point? So, I don't know.
Well, I suppose where it might be. This sounds like something that we've. I know Cav wanted to do ages ago. We have access to legend lore.
Oh, I didn't even realize we had access to that.
We do.
Then yeah, I mean that's definitely. I would imagine that's something that would be really useful to use that
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
Track it. Yeah.
It won't be cheap, but it will be something.
No, it's
yeah,
definitely not cheap.
if that is something that we wanted to look into. The
Yeah.
other option, instead of puzzling out or finding that, was she mentioned the idea of finding a guide who would probably be a drow. But considering the composition of our party, as I think was the implication, that's probably not really an option for us. But yeah, also the abyss, just like the fiends and the other creatures and individuals that live there. We would either have to be prepared to fight through them or find ways to potentially pit them against each other so that we can roll past them. Essentially, it's not the way that it was worded, but that's the essentially what it was.
They're not going to be pleased with us.
No, but Visastros said that she had success in basically getting them to fight each other, and that if we knew more about and found ways to play off of any like pre-existing tensions between fiends and such there, that we might be able to not have to fight all of the battles ourselves, just so that we can get to where we want to go.
We did just get a spy, but I don't think demon politics were what she added. Were what she added.
No,
Well,
let's
but
not
that
throw
may-
her in that end.
That may be something that others have done research on.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hope so.
But yeah, I don't know.
imagine.
Like that's a little iffy because that also would require us to do a lot of manipulation on that end. But some of them may be very willing to fight each other. Was the impression that we got when talking to Visastros about it.
Well, if they're
Well-
even anything like people are like the races of the material plane, sometimes they just need the slightest excuse to justify whatever they want to do, and bam, they'll do it.
But yeah, that's a
But
good.
I guess
A good point to make is the fact that yes, not only do you now have a team of mercenaries that you can send out to do things, you now have access potentially to a spy who could begin investigating things for you, and you also have access to a bard who may know history and lore. And a thing that I found when looking through and updating all of the sheets is if you need very, very old lore, Rask specifically has a talent that he knows spoken word lore from even beyond the First Age, from the primordial eras of when things was still up in the air. Like,
Can't believe.
he
Of all people, Rask.
yeah, but both Rask and Cal may have information about things that you don't necessarily yourselves know.
I must
But
speak
that
with
would-
both of them and write it down.
Well, that would also require us to be willing to divulge the information we need to know. But
True.
I guess we can.
But-
I guess we can trust them to some degree.
Yeah, they may also know things about artifacts, for example, just as a point of option.
Yeah.
I assume Rask has demonstrated his knowledge sometimes when we're just talking during dinner.
Yep.
Just suddenly, like,
I mean,
well,
he's demonstrated it a couple of times. He demonstrated it when you first met him. He's talked about stuff before. But yeah, you are aware that he knows a lot of spoken word history.
like the problem is, it always felt like it was a bit of the tribal kind of story history instead of actual history.
Tribal history is actual history.
No, but
Minnie.
I meant like, you know, the shaman made up a story to like a fairy tale kind of thing.
But-
all of that,
But
all
they
of those
all
stories
have
have a basis in
yeah,
reality.
they all have
Yeah.
they all have morals and history to them.
Yeah.
I guess
every-
that's true.
Yeah. Like,
The trick is
although
being
we
able
think
to
of myths
decipher
and
them.
legends, yeah, although we think of myths and legends as being plucked out of nowhere, they all came from somewhere. There's always some element of truth to them.
Says both Cav and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess we'll want her to ask. Well, I guess I'll also inform the others after we've like about the Dread Legion and our position a little. After we've had this, and then
Yeah.
I think we'll just, well, considering you both just came back, you might want to just have a day off.
Yes, please. Speaking of, can we break now?
Yeah, that seems like a good point to take a brief break.
Yeah.